castles, ancient towns, mysterious caves. Every year, archaeologists find hundreds of artifacts. To find the truth and unravel what's left to us from our ancestors, the crew of Archeology Mystery of History program, together with scientists, are investigating objects found on site of historic events. Watch our program and get ready for exciting discoveries.
Balasagun is a medieval settlement. For a long time it has been the capital of the west wing of the Karahanid Empire. It was first mentioned in written sources back in the 10th century. Arab geographer Al-Maqsidi describes the city as a large and friendly town. A prominent Turkish scholar, Mahmud al-Kashgari, made notes considering the name of the settlement, Kuz Ulus or Kuz Orda, Horde. Scientists assume that during the 8th century the Turkic name of the Balasagun city was Beklik, and in Sogdian language, Semekne. The residents of the city believed to be speaking those two languages. In 1210, Karakitais overthrew Muhammad Khwarezm-Shah and seized Balasagun. In 1218, the inhabitants of Balasagun voluntarily opened the gates of the city to Genghis Khan's troops. That is why the Mongols renamed the city Gobalik, which literally means good city.
Баласагун қаласы бұл Қазақстанның оңтүстік өңіріндегі Шу өзенінің бойындағы ұзын қалалардың қатарына жатады.
Balasagun settlement was located in the south of Kazakhstan, on the banks of the Chu River. It was a major trade and cultural center. The first mentions of the ancient city date back to the 6th century, according to Arabic and Persian sources. Fundamental research of the history of the city was initiated in the second half of the 19th century. The history of the settlement dates back to antiquity. A settlement was found as a result of 30 years of archaeologists' work. The first bird's-eye view pictures were taken and published in 1980. Photos demonstrate that central part of the settlement is covering the area of 70 square meters. The total length of the massive fortress wall was 52 kilometers. The city consists of 2 Shahristans, citadels and urban districts surrounded by long shafts. Shahristan is rectangular, 380 to 250 meters. The height 6 to 7 meters. A square citadel is placed in the middle of it. Its side is 100 meters and is 10 meters tall. The sides of the second Shahristan are 300, 250 meters and 3 to 6 meters in height. City area is surrounded with long shaft. The length of the first shaft is 17 kilometers. The second one is 25 kilometers long. Another 4 half spheres of shafts are connected to the second shaft on the west and south sides. The first scholar to study the settlement was Vasily Bartold. Soviet scientists continued attempts to locate the Balasagun city. In 1938-1939, a scholar from Leningrad, former name of St. Petersburg, Ben Stamm, organized a Mirchi archaeological expedition on the basis of the Institute of Material Culture. Research of the ancient city continued in 1973 by scientists of the Kazakh State University, named after Kirov then, and now Al-Farabi. Archaeological excavations were carried out in almost all parts of the settlement. It used to be a major cultural, scientific, spiritual center of the Eurasian continent. Prominent figures such as Yusuf Balasaguni, Mahmud Kashgari were either born here or lived and worked in the city. An encyclopedic work of Yusuf Balasaguni, Kutatgu Belik, the Book of Edification, was written here. Archaeological excavations here last for more than 1 decade. In this time, numerous facilities were dug out and studied. The palace complex with central square and eastern baths, water supply and sewer systems, residential and farm buildings, craft centers with revealing ceramic dishes and weaponry. A unique set of bronze coins containing more than 500 pieces was found by archaeologists here.
74 жылдан бастап жүргізілген археологиялық қазба жұмыстары осы күнге дейін өзінің жалғасын тауып келе жатыр. Жүргізілген қазба.
Excavations are carried out in these areas since 1974. Many exhibits were found as a result of these works. Such cultural layer that revealed valuable artifacts is a testament of the different period of these ancient cities' rich history. According to some sources, Balasagun was the capital of TYURGESHES, one of the largest tribes of the Western Turkic Khanate in the period from the 6th to the 9th century. The Turkic tribal alliance once formed a separate state, and according to artifacts found during the excavations, Balasagun was its political center. Locating the ancient city was one of the main difficulties in studying the history of the place. Many attempts of Orientalists to determine the location of the city were futile. Only in recent years, scientists have put forward a number of suggestions on the matter. So why did the Orientalists search this mysterious city for so long? There are several scientific explanations for this. One of them is the fact that all written sources were obsolete. People living here nowadays do not possess any information as well. The fact that there were remains of many other cities layering on top of each other added certain difficulty in accessing which ones actually belong to Balasagun. The mysterious city has puzzled many scientists. Some of them, in the pursuit of sensation, made wrongful assumptions, causing criticism and discontent of their colleagues. For example, Professor Alexander Benstam, who conducted excavations in the mid-50s of the last century, pointed at remains of the Akbeshim settlement next to the Kyrgyz city Tokmak, thinking it was Balasagun. However, his student, Professor Leonid Kyzylasov, denied this version, proving the invalidity of Benstam's scientific reasoning. Kyrgyz scientists were also mistaken by considering Borana to be Balasagun. After many years of search, the settlement was finally found in Aktobe area. After continuous search, archaeologists were able to find the citadel where the governor of the city resided. A central square and complete palace complex were also found there, as well as northeastern gates and central streets of the city. Through the implementation of the governmental cultural heritage program, we were able to explore and study many evidences which this storehouse of national culture had consisted of. Famous scholar Wahid Shalikenov had made invaluable contribution to the development of Kazakhstan's archaeology, history and ethnology. In his monograph, he provides historical facts unknown to these days based on his 30-year research. The historical topographical structure, typical of the medieval fortification, was determined. Scientists described construction materials from which the ancient city was built, as well as the history of its occurrence. Today, the sites where archaeological excavations took place are being restored with the financial support of the Ministry of Culture and Sports and direct participation of Republican State Enterprise Kaz Restoration. In his monograph, Wahid Shalikenov stated that Balasagun was built with the support of all sons of Alash. It is necessary to emphasize the contribution of Aguz tribe, who were sedentary. During excavations, valuable artifacts were found in the citadel, Shahristan and Rabat. The chronology of events is strictly followed in articles and books of the author, as well as detailed narrative of the scientist's uneasy path. The ancient city played a major role in the history of the Turkic nations, particularly of the Kazakh people. Balasagun itself is a clear indication of the scale of spiritual level of the people. Artifacts found during excavations of the settlement are themselves very valuable heritage, which will be passed on to the next generation. All three parts of the city are fully explored to this date. According to scientists, during 5th, 10th centuries, a city located on the Great Silk Road was political, economic and cultural capital of the Turgesh state, Karluk, Karahanits, Karakitai states and Turks. Unfortunately, the city ceased to exist in the 14th century, as some scientists assume, after the plague epidemic in 1338-1339. Today, the remains of that mighty city look like a small hill that could be seen from afar. Therefore, the locals called it Aktobe, which means White Hill.
Бұл қаласында суландыру жүйесіне қатысты үлкен тың материалдар табылған жәдігерлер. Атап айтатын болсақ 4 қатардан тұратын, сатылап тұратын.
An advanced water supply system was found during the excavations. Water pipes are placed on 4 levels so that the water flowed down from top to bottom. The length of the clay tubes is 50-60 centimeters, diameter 35-40 centimeters. This is a testament to the high development of the city throughout all sectors: agricultural, social, domestic, cultural, and so on.
Оның ішіндегі суландыру жүйесінің ерекше дамығандығын көрсетсе керек.
According to Wahid Shalikenov, the settlement covered a large area. There wasn't a city quite like this one in this region, the scientist says. The governor of the Turkish state initially had built the city of Chu and after that laid the foundation for future capital Balasagun. According to reports, musicians would enter the main square in front of the palace at noon and hit the drum 360 times to greet the Kagan's loyalists. This notion lets us look behind the veil of the history of this mysterious city. In addition, the names of places that Kashgari mentioned in his book were also found in this region. Currently, these areas are under the scrutiny of scientists. Until now, it was believed that the settlement was located on the territory of modern Kyrgyzstan. However, after finding numerous artifacts here, all doubts were scattered, and further assumptions of such character will be considered scientifically unjustified.
Tarihçilerin arasında bir talas var. Bireler ayda Balasagun qalası bu
The main dispute between historians was revolving around the location of the ancient city. Some said that Balasagun is located near the Kyrgyz city Tokmak, in an area of the Borana Tower. Another group of scientists had demonstrated that according to the parameters available, namely the description of location and status, that the settlement found near the Chu River is in fact the capital of the ancient states. A famous writer, Shurhan Murtaza, during a discussion of the state program Cultural Heritage, has justified the historical importance of the Aktobe site and proposed to include the study of the area in the work plan for 2003-2006. The work continued in the framework of the same state program for 2007-2009 years period. The research of Balasagun isn't fulfilled yet. We are looking forward to the next stage of the resumption of archaeological research of the settlement, said Wahid Shalikenov.
Республикалық бағдарламасы аясында жүргізілген археология қазба жұмыстарының кезінде жетекшісі Карл.
The archaeological excavations laid by Karl Baypakov resulted in finding the remains of the old tower, which is located not far from the mosque. The height of the remaining part of the tower is 2.5–3 meters. The brick tower was octagonal with characteristic for medieval architecture area of 25–25 and thickness of 5 centimeters. This architectural monument is typical for 10th–13th centuries constructions, located on the territory of Central Asia and Kazakhstan.
Сол исламдық уақытқа сәйкес келеді, әсіресе мұны 10-13 ғасырлардың аралығында кеңінен таралған құрылыс нысаны болып табылады.
The further research of the historical building will certainly contribute to the accomplishment of new discoveries, expanding the knowledge of the history of our country. We have much to learn about Balasagun. Moreover, an ancient city situated on the Almaty-Shymkent route has a potential of becoming an important tourist attraction. Scientists claim that it is necessary to create a scientific and cultural center in place where historical artifacts were found, so that the staff of such center could conduct a comprehensive archaeological research.
Айта кетуіміз керек, 2014 жылдан бастап орта ғасырлық Ақтөбе Баласагун қаласы қазіргі таңда ЮНЕСКО.
In 2014, Balasagun was included in the list of cultural objects of UNESCO World Heritage Sites. At the same time, the ancient city is one of the tourism destinations in the Jambil region. An important event, an international exhibition Expo 2017, will be held next year in Kazakhstan. Some visitors of the exhibition will be taken to Jambil region to walk through sacred places, get acquainted with architectural monuments, to touch upon the ancient history.
Тарихын және оның қалалық мәдениетін қалыптасуын таныстыратын болатын мүмкіндіктеріміз болады.
Scientific researcher Wahid Shalakenov, a professor of the Kazakh State University named after Al-Farabi, is extremely meaningful to us. At the moment, the scientist is planning to fully restore the historical object, thereby returning the former beauty and grandeur to the ancient city. One of the capitals of the Turkic world deserves to be an attraction of the world, pleasing the eye of tourists from all over the planet.